It's what tier 5 are learning. You are going to learn that at tier 5.
Not the sugar.
And you are going to learn this table. Not all at once, you are going to learn it step by step. But that's the summary of all management tests. So what I give you is I give you the functional group at the top. Alkene, alcohol, primary, secondary. Alpha, aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, and tertiary alcohol. And then I give you the functional test. I give you the simple test. If R you tick, it means that it is positive. For example, if you have an aldehyde, if you want to compare an aldehyde with alkene, you can use the filling test. Because the filling test is positive for aldehyde only, but not alkene. It's what it means. If you have primary alcohol and aldehyde, so two things, primary alcohol and aldehyde,
Okay.
you cannot use
This step to this step, I get coconut, 2 coconut. This step to this step, I get 4 proteins, 1 protein, all the same thing.
So that's the idea. It's like to be able to compare two different molecules or two different functions. You need
What is it?
to have one which reacts positive and one which is negative.
Why does it keep shaking?
That's the idea. And the problem is like in the Olympiad, they are going to ask you about those functional tests. They are going to show you 2 molecules and tell you does the covalent reaction help you to stabilize the system. If you don't know what the covalent reaction is, you won't be able to answer the question.
Yeah, because from CO2 you lose the hydrogen, and it goes to water.
So this is what we learn at the end. And Glenn is going to show you like the reaction one by one.
Remember, flip the table.
Actually, you can sit with over here. Yeah, this table too. Just like
No.
I have stuff on it.
I'm here.
Flip Brian's table.
I can flip right. Oh.
Testing. Okay, so this part is basically like, I'm going to go through distinguishing tests now. The first one I'm going to go through is Fehling's test, which is basically a solution. The Fehling solution is a solution of copper 2 plus in basic environment and some other organic compounds. And if you heat it with aliphatic aldehyde, that means a straight chain aldehyde with no benzene ring, for example,
It doesn't have COH precipitate.
something like this. Then this is an aliphatic aldehyde, or this. Okay? So bear in mind, this would be a ketone, okay? So make sure that this is a hydrogen. Then this would be an aromatic aldehyde because it's bonded to a benzene ring, okay? So if you heat it with an aromatic aldehyde, the result will be negative. Okay, so the positive result is actually a break-rate precipitate of the copper 1 oxide that's formed because your copper 2 plus, right, is being reduced into copper 1 in here. Okay? And when the copper 2 plus is being reduced to copper 1 oxide, at the same time, the aldehyde is also being oxidized to form a carboxylic acid or carboxylate. Okay? And as for methanol, right, it can actually reduce copper even further to form copper metal. Okay? Now, Tollens test is very similar, except that Tollens reagent is silver plus and ammonia, and if you heat it with all aldehydes, it will generate a positive test. But any other functional group will generate a negative test. So what is the positive test? The positive result actually is the silver deposit that is forming on the glass test tube, okay, which is this one on the left. Okay, the negative test is just a color solution, like there will be nothing. Okay, so sometimes if you are lucky, you can still see a silver mirror if you do it properly. And yeah, and in year 5 you guys will get to do this if you take chem. Yeah. Okay. For iodoform test is a bit complicated because you add iodine and sodium hydroxide and you heat it up. So it tests positive for certain alcohols and certain ketones. If you have primary or secondary alcohol on second carbon, basically your second carbon needs to... Your second carbon, right, this is your first carbon over here, needs to be a CH3. Your second carbon needs to be Next we have hydrogen over here. Okay, at least one hydrogen. This one can be R, can be hydrogen. Okay, wait. No, this is OH. This is R or hydrogen. Yeah, I'll redraw it again. Okay, so this can be either R group or hydrogen over here. And the first carbon must have CH3, you cannot have other substituents on it. It can have like Cl or it can also have like iodine like here, but then usually you just consider it to be CH3 over here. And yeah, OH. And the thing is you need to make sure there's a H over here. So if you have two R groups and OH over here, then it will also not generate a positive test. Okay. Then if you have a carbonyl, also it will generate a positive test. Okay. And for tertiary alcohols, as I mentioned just now already, if you have tertiary alcohol on second carbon, it will generate a negative test. So, a negative result. So, the positive result is a yellow precipitate. This yellow precipitate is actually because you chop off this carbon over here and you turn it into CHI3. That's the yellow precipitate that you actually see. And the rest of the compound actually become a carboxylic acid or carboxylate salt. Okay? So it's sort of an oxidation reaction as well. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about two types of KMnO4, potassium permanganate. You can have a hot acidified potassium permanganate, which is considered a vigorous oxidation, and it oxidizes your primary alcohol to carboxylic acid and your secondary alcohols to ketone. Now, for these two examples, actually you don't need to heat it up. You just need acidified potassium permanganate will do. Okay? For tertiary alcohols, there's no reaction. And for alkenes, right, it cleaves the CC double bond and it forms two C double bond O and two CO bonds, and it fully oxidizes these two products. So let's say if we have something like this alkene over here, right? I will actually cleave this double bond over here and generate two different compounds. I can generate a ketone, and then this part is an aldehyde. But I need to fully oxidize this, so I turn this into a carboxylic acid. Okay? So for you guys to better understand for primary alcohol and secondary alcohols why it oxidizes this way, right? Okay, we can actually look at your primary alcohols are like this, right? The first step, you oxidize, you just take out two hydrogens. And then now you add one oxygen over here, okay, to fully oxidize it. Whereas your secondary alcohols can only oxidize one.
Once the two hydrogens form.
And then you get a ketone over here, okay? Then, by the way, in this case, right, if you have something like this, and you cleave this side actually turns into CO2. Actually oxidizes fully to become carbon dioxide. And if you have, there's an exception in which, if you have something like that, you have two double bonds like connected like that, you can actually cleave here and here, and generate this oxalic acid over here. Now this one actually, it also oxidizes the oxalic acid and turns it into two CO2 molecules. So yeah, just take note of that. If you have like two double bonds connected like that, then it will just immediately turn into CO2. Okay, it doesn't form oxalic acid. Okay, so the positive result is obviously that the purple KMnO4 will decolorize. Okay, same thing for coalkaline KMnO4, but this is only mild oxidation, and it doesn't oxidize your alcohols at all. It's just for alkenes, right? It actually breaks the pi bond in this. So if I use this example again, right? What happens is that this will actually become a vicinal diol, which is two hydroxy groups side by side. Okay, so you just break one of the pi bonds, and then you have 2 hydroxyl groups side by side. Okay, moving on. Brady's test is a bit complicated. Okay, so you can look at Brady's reaction over here, 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. And what this does is that it actually reacts with your ketones. Okay, so carbonyl functional group. Yeah, aldehyde as well. But for ester and carboxylic acid, take note that even if you have this, right, for your ester, right, it looks something like that, right?